So this video is all about managing the strike zone. So when people think about managing the strike zone, they think if it's a ball, I'm not going to swing at it, and if it's a strike, I'm going to swing at it. But I'm going to show you another approach that a lot of elite hitters use when it comes to governing the strike zone. So a lot of times, good hitters will look for a pitch that they can hit hard and put a barrel on, right? Which is typically something out over the middle of the plate, right? So if we draw that on this strike zone here, right, it's going to be something in this area here. Now there's going to be some variations. Some players are going to want it a little bit more here, a little bit more here, a little bit more here. It doesn't matter, okay? Now, if we are, early in the count especially, hunting pitches in this strike zone, okay, and we actually get one and we're ready to do some damage. The key word today is damage. If we're ready to do damage on that pitch, we are going to be ready to hit it, we're going to be on time, we're going to increase our likelihood to hit that pitch hard, okay? Now, if for some reason the pitch is outside of that zone, our brain, because it's so fixated on damage, is going to tell us that's not a pitch I can hit extremely hard, and we're probably going to lay off. Now, as you get to 2 strikes, right, that circle is going to expand a little bit, okay? And we're going to be in a bigger zone here. Now you can notice that the circle almost touches the edges, but it leaves some space, right, in the corners of the zone. Now, if we are still fixated on getting a barrel on the ball, so we've kind of given up damage now, we're not looking to hit the ball over the fence, but maybe we're looking to catch a barrel, our barrel can really only cover so much of the strike zone, which is going to leave these what we call fringe pitches, okay? Now, these pitches are not necessarily something you can do damage on anyway, or something that you can put in play and get on base on. So we're really looking to hunt this zone here, we're keeping it tight, and that way, if we expand a little bit, just based on we think a pitch is in one area and maybe it moves a little bit, we're now going to cover most of the strike zone. Obviously, we're going to leave these corner fringe pitches, but no one's going to hit those hard really anyway. Now, when we get to 3-2, everything completely changes because it's different in terms of how you are rewarded for taking a pitch in a 3-2 count versus a 0-2, 1-2, or a 2-2 count. In those counts, 0-2, 1-2, and 2-2, if the pitcher throws a ball, we still have 2 strikes on us. But if the pitcher throws a ball in a 3-2 count, all of a sudden we're on base. So really what we want to do, after we've expanded our zone, maybe 0-2, 1-2, and we've fought our way to 3-2, now we turn the damage back on, and 3-2 is a damage count. I want you guys to remember that. 3-2 is a damage count. So now all of a sudden, we are going to hunt a zone in the middle here. Now, let's say a pitcher throws a pitch on the fringe here. A, we're not going to be able to do damage on it because it's just not something that we can hit hard. But if it's a pitch on the edges and the umpire, we call it a 50-50 pitch. If the umpire calls it a ball, we get ourselves on base. So I don't even want to entertain the edges of the strike zone in a 3-2 count. I want to make sure that we stay to the middle of the plate and we're trying to do damage in 3-2. Maybe not to the extent of an 0-0 count or maybe a 2-0 count, but we're definitely trying to put a barrel on a ball and we're trying to do some damage and get the ball out of the infield. So remember that when you get to 3-2 count, it's not the normal 2-strike count. It's a damage count. And when you think in the middle of the plate and you think damage first, that's how we should govern our strike zone. Remember, it's called a strike zone for a reason, and that is because the area in which the ball is placed, that's where they're able to be struck. That's the strike zone. That's why we call it that. So make sure that we're letting damage be our dictator of the strike zone, and that will keep us from chasing pitches and swinging at pitches that we shouldn't be hitting in the first place.